Welcome to the Inside Story. I'm Billy Hallowell, and today we're talking about America's most sinful cities. I'm joined by the Christian Post, Ian Giatti. How you doing today?
I'm great, Billy. How's it going?
Well, it's going well, and you have a really interesting article here. I know it's gotten a lot of attention, and it does catch your eye because it basically breaks down the most sinful cities in the country. Okay, so let's just start here. Who tracked these cities, and what was sort of the methodology behind it?
Yeah, so these cities were kind of rounded out as a top 30 list, I believe, from Wallet Hub, and it was a survey they did back on November 17th, and they basically took 40 indicators, ranging from things like excessive drinking, violent crimes, and even adult entertainment establishments per capita. And they measured those across over 180 US cities to determine what they were going to call the most, quote, sinful cities in the nation. And they make a distinction between sinful as these indicators and sinful as like not being least religious, which is not really something they measured.
Okay, because that was gonna be my question, and I don't know if you wanna add anything to it, but you sort of spoke to it there. How was sin defined? Because people will say, "Well, I don't think that's sin," and other people will say, "Well, I think it is." And so it sounds like they actually were able to kind of nail it down and measure it in a way that would at least make these cities comparable.
I think the way they described it was kind of a combination of illicit activities, so things that maybe are legal but maybe considered societally, questionable, or actual illegal like crimes. So they kind of took a metric that spread across all those things, shuffled them up, and then applied them to the per capita population of all these different cities, and from there they made their rankings.
Okay. All right, so let's just get right into what is the most sinful city in America and why?
Yeah, well, I think it's no surprise that it's Sin City itself, which is Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, it has the second most casinos per capita, but that's really not even why it ranks number one. It actually Vegas is, according to a survey, the city with the most adult entertainment destinations per capita. So most people think of Las Vegas, they think of gambling, they think of maybe excessive drinking or whatever they may think of, but it's not just the gambling, it's actually this adult entertainment industry, sub industry throughout Sin City.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's not shocking. I think most people would probably guess that, right? If they had to guess it. But what was so interesting looking at your breakdown, and we're not going to go through the top five because I want people to go and read the article and see, but the second most sinful city in America, what was that and why?
Number two was Houston, actually, which, believe it or not, boasts the third highest number of adult entertainment establishments. And the survey also found that the city ranks among the nation's highest in Google searches for things like extramarital affairs, pornography, and strip clubs. And so, in addition to that factor, residents in Houston are also considered, according to the survey, the most violent, with the nation's fifth highest number of mass shootings between January 2023 and June 2025. So you have this toxic combination of high crime rate, super high interest in adult entertainment and pornography and strip clubs, and obviously that can make for a very quote unquote sinful climate.
Yeah, I think people would be surprised to hear that a city in Houston, I'm sorry, a city in Texas would have that dynamic because people look at Texas and they're like, oh, it's a very red state and whatnot. Are there misconceptions there? It's curious because even as somebody who lives in New York, I would assume, oh, New York, a city in New York would be more likely to be on there, or California than, and we'll get there. There is a city from California in the top five, but that Texas wouldn't be on that list.
Yeah, it is. It is strange. I would think New York City was also surprising that it wasn't on the list somewhere. I think it is further down out of the top five. But yeah, it's interesting that Los Angeles, Philadelphia is also named. Again, a lot of these are some of the most populous cities in the country, so it's not 100% surprising that they would be considered a certain level of sinful. But again, yeah, it's interesting that in Texas we have a city as like Houston is that has this very dangerous combination of kind of high crime and then high interest in adult entertainment and pornography. It's obviously a very quote unquote sinful kind of environment.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay. So, third city, and this brings us to California, Los Angeles. Break that one down.
Well, it is a city of angels, but like I say in the article, it's anything but, according to Wallet Hub. LA is ranked the third most sinful city in the country. Believe it or not, that ranking stems from LA, despite its kind of blue state reputation. It actually has the 14th most hate crimes per capita and the eighth most mass shootings between January 2023 and June 2025, even though it has some of the most stringent gun laws in the country. So Los Angeles, as you know, known for Hollywood and the entertainment industry, also has an enormous reputation for hate crimes. Again, according to the survey, and mass shootings, which is not something that they probably tell you on the tourism flyer to come to LA.
Right. Right. It's kind of, not really something that, yeah, you would assume or think, but as the headlines have come out, I think Los Angeles, we've seen more and more in the recent years of what is happening there. So maybe it's not as shocking as Houston is, but what was it for you? Obviously, this is an interesting story to tackle. What attracted you to wanting to cover it?
Well, I think it's interesting how we measure. I had the expectation, of course, Las Vegas is the most sinful, which, because of its name and reputation. But what's interesting is that this idea that these issues, they kind of permeate throughout the country. So they're not just in one place. They're not just in Las Vegas. They're not just in Houston. They're not just in Los Angeles. Every major city is seemingly grappling with these kind of rising, whether it's crime rates, whether it's rising interest in adult entertainment establishments, strip clubs, pornography. This is becoming more widespread. And I think we kind of culturally turn a blind eye to that because we just kind of expect it now. But obviously the survey makes a point that it wasn't always the case. Certainly in places like Houston, even Los Angeles, even Philadelphia, these cities have changed tremendously over the last few decades, and I think this survey kind of helps to highlight that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's helpful to know too what's going on in your city. So people can go and they can head over to the Christian Post and read the other two in the top five and dig a little deeper into other cities across America. Ian, appreciate you breaking this one down today.
Thank you, Billy.
Everyone else, make sure you head on over to the Christian Post. You can go to christianpost.com. We'll be back next week with another episode of The Inside Story.